All right, hello everyone, and welcome to a bit of a cosmic exploration fishing Q&A. This is if you're watching in the future, this is a stream that I did on April 24th. Just to timestamp it. Some of the things may have changed since then because this is still new content. But basically, I have a bunch of questions that I've been seeing come up a lot, and I am going to be answering them, and we are going to be walking through some of these things. I'll be showing how some of these missions work that I've seen people struggle on, and some of those things that people are getting really caught up on. So, without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing that comes up with fishing is it is a little bit different than overworld fishing in the sense of some of the rules, but for the most part, if you've done big fishing, you are going to pretty much be perfectly fine doing some of the missions in cosmic exploration, even all the way up to the A ranks. If you are in gear that allows you to catch the 7.2 big fish, which requires 4,040 gathering, you are perfectly fine. Like, you will have no issues whatsoever getting the stats that you need to be able to achieve all of these ranks. Now, unfortunately, I totally thought that I had a Aquatic Inspection I ready, but apparently I don't. I bet you that is because I left. That's fine. So, some of the really basic stuff here about fishing that I want to cover before we go too deep into this. 1, you will be using all of your skills. That is like the big thing here, is as you progress in the classes, starting at D all the way up to A, and like A1s and A2s, you will be using all of your skills, so it is very beneficial to be helpful, or to be, it is helpful to know what those do. I'll go into them as they come up. I do have some guides on those as well in my Fisher's Guide to Eorzea and on my channel, so you can look those up. But the relevant ones I will talk about throughout as we do things. Next thing, some of these missions are going to be testing you on different things, such as we have rare aquatic specimens. This one's going to be testing you on collectability. You do need to have collector's glove up for this. So if you're not getting collectibles, one of the first things you should check is, do you have collector's glove on? Another one is catch specified fish. If you are familiar with target fishing, or the concept of target fishing and being able to identify the fish that you need to be able to do things, these types of missions will be pretty easy for you. These are usually timed, and so the faster you are, the better, and there are ways that you can speed up the process. Other ones is size-based. So these are not collectibles. There is a collectible variant of this where you have to collect, you have to gather fish, and the sum of their sizes is assigned to a point value, and those points then have to add up, and you have to reach a certain amount to hit a gold tier. Some of them are tied to collectability. Some of them are just tied to size. This one in particular, Fine Grade Water Materials 1. This is one where you are going to be specifically looking for a specific fish, and we're going to go do this one right now so I can kind of show what we're talking about here. This one is, let me make sure I have this right, Bright Cobalt Eye. Cool. All right, so I need to remember where it is. Yep. Okay, so this particular mission, which I cannot access while I'm on my hoverboard. This particular mission is one of many where it's basically you need to go and get a specific fish. You have to know exactly what you need to be able to find that fish. Now, typically, what we would say for this is you want to go and find, look up a resource, find out what the, look at the guide, figure out what the bite distribution is. Like, are Are there precision hookset fish? Are there powerful hookset fish? In this case, there is no fishing guide for cosmic exploration. So you very much need to talk to other fishers or just write it down yourself. There's no shame whatsoever in writing down and keeping track of your own information. So what I do know for a fact is for fine grade water materials here at Westward Hop Print, there are 5 fish in this hole, and that is the blue moon loach, the lunar ramus, the preceptor beta, the star crystal knife, and the bright cobalt eel. Now this mission is one where basically we need to catch the biggest fish possible. And in this particular case, I know from past experience that it is going to be a bright cobalt eel. Now, what we do know about this hole is it is consistent of 2 precision hookset fish and 3 powerful hookset fish. So the blue moon loach and the preceptor beta are both precision hookset fish. These are weak-jawed fish, as they're referred to now. They are the 1 exclamation point. And then the lunar ramus, the star crystal knife, and the bright cobalt eel are all powerful hookset fish. These are the 2 and the 3 exclamation points, specifically in cosmic exploration. Now, from experience, I know that 3 exclamation point, the bright cobalt eel, is what we want. And so we want to increase. We basically want to get the largest size possible, and there's a couple of ways we can do that. We can either use the skills that increase the size of our fish, which would be patience, patience 2, prize catch, and also technically big game fishing. But in order for this to work, you need to be using it in conjunction with one of these. So what I'm going to do for this is we're going to do something called target fishing. I know that the bright cobalt eel, which is what we need for this mission, is the only triple exclamation point, the only ferocious bite. I know that it is a powerful hook set. And so what I will do is target fish towards that. I am only going to be looking for that fish specifically. So to get started, I'm going to walk through this whole mission. I am really hoping that this works out 100%. Not that I don't know that it won't work, because it does. I've done it twice today. But this is fishing, so there is a little bit of variability involved. All right, so I will initiate the mission, and I'm immediately going to use Chum and Prize Catch. And I'm going to use Ambitious Lure. Ambitious and Modest Lure are 2 new skills added in Dawn Trail. They are both level 100 skills. Ambitious Lure makes it more likely that those strong-jawed, those powerful biting fish, are actually going to bite. So in this case, we do get a strong bite. It isn't the cobalt eel, because again, we know the cobalt eel is going to be a ferocious bite. That is the 3 exclamation points. It's a star crystal knife, which is great. You'll see that it has already given us 4,630 points, which is enough to get us bronze tier. That's great. We only use 2 skills, Prize Catch and Chum, but I don't want that fish anymore. I want to make sure that I am going specifically for bright cobalt eel. So I'm going to slap that fish. Now with surface slap, that fish will not bite again as long as I don't reel in another fish. And I'm going to use Ambitious Lure again. Now with the lures, because I did not get a ferocious bite, I'm looking for a 3 exclamation point here. I'm going to use Rest, and I'm going to use Chum again, and then I'm going to use Ambitious Lure again, and I'm going to keep doing that. Now you'll see this message comes up. You have a feeling your next cast will land a large-jawed fish. I know that this is about to be bright cobalt eel. After this is done, I will break down exactly what just happened, because this will either get me very close to gold, if not gold rank, to begin with. Okay, very, very close. So this is where I know that I now need to use big game fishing. And let me break down what is going on with this. Now I have to be very quick here because I'm running out of time. So I'm going to basically try and get another one of the 2 exclamation point bites. Perfect. I'm going to use Surface Slap, And then I'm going to use prize catch, and I'm going to use big game fishing. This skill guarantees that my next fish is going to be a large size. Big game fishing means that it is going to be as large as it possibly can within my perception skill. So I'm basically using Ambitious Lure over and over again to draw out that precision or that powerful biting fish. So I basically right now, because I have basically Ambitious Lure going the full length, or I'm using it all 3 times that I'm allowed to, basically I am really swaying in the favor of powerful biting fish. Now I've missed that, and that's fine. We're going to finish this out anyways. Now, here's the one thing that with fishing that we do need to know. It is not like overworld fishing. If you cast out and you do not reel in the fish, and the time runs out before you reel in the fish and it hits your inventory, it doesn't count. So that actually would have been a gold-ranked bright cobalt eel, but because it was after the time, it didn't work. So I will go ahead and record and send in that report, get my stuff. Now let's break down what just happened there. I'm going to bring back my chat here. You will have noticed, so I was using Ambitious Lure to draw out the powerful biting fish, which I knew bright cobalt eel was. That was just through my own experience. That did not take me very long to figure out. It was maybe 1 or 2 missions. It was at most, however long that was, 6-7 minutes. Now, as I was using Ambitious Lure, this is one of the features of Ambitious and Modest Lure, is sometimes you will see this message here. You have a feeling your next cast will land a large-jawed or a weak-jawed fish. This means that your next bite will be guaranteed of the hook set that lure is associated with. So in this particular case, because it said a large-jawed fish, I knew that that next bite was either going to be the bright cobalt eel that I wanted, or the other strong bite, the 2 exclamation points. If I was using Modest Lure, which I wouldn't need to in this case, if I was using Modest Lure, that would say weak-jawed fish, and it would have been the single exclamation point. So, did I get that again? I did not. But I did get one that I do want to cover next, so that's great. So basically, in this particular set of missions, when you are looking for a specific singular targeted fish, which again, let me scroll back to where that was. So in this one where it's like we want one specific fish, you are going to be targeting a very specific fish. That was not the one that I just did. That's not right. Where did it go? There it is. That is not it, but it's the same one, so that'll be good enough for me. Basically, when you're looking for the largest size fish, that is dealing with size. So the size of the fish. Each fish you catch has a range of sizes it can be. Skills such as Patience, Patience 2, and Prize Catch will increase the size of any fish caught. Some people think that Patience and Patience 2 means that you are more likely to catch big fish. That is not the case. It just increases the size of any fish caught. So if a fish is going to be on average, without Patience, somewhere between 5 inches and 10 inches, with Patience, when you catch it, it is more likely to be 8 to 12 inches long. This is great for these missions where you have to deal with sizes, or finding the largest size, or ones that are having you deal with collectability. Prize Catch, on the other hand, just guarantees that it is one of the largest fish possible. Like one of the largest sizes of that fish, possible. And big game fishing makes it that any large-sized fish, so again, that is the quality of the fish, any large-sized fish you catch is more in that upper percentile of potential sizes. This is really handy for, again, some collectible missions. Collectability in general in Dawn Trail, we saw this, where if you wanted to get a tier 3 chain shark for that 1,000 orange script turn-in, you would have to use big game fishing. For the most part. I don't think there was any case when anyone didn't. That might change in the future, but for now, if you want to reliably get that 1K chain shark, you got to use big game fishing because it pushes it into that top percentile. Okay, so that is that size mission. So this is one that we'll see a bunch. There is a variety of these. A couple of them are based around mooching. A few of them are based on single strike catch fish, like we were just talking about with bright cobalt eel. And then others are, they want you to get like the largest size fish, and there's an intuition tied to it. So, okay. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask them in chat, or if you have questions later, you can leave them in the YouTube comments if you're watching the VOD. And if you're not watching the VOD and you see me in game, you're more than welcome to ask there. All right. Cool. So we're going to head up north here to Hollow Harbor. Checking chat. Hello, Zin. And you're welcome, Mochi. That is one of the more interesting straight catch missions, mainly because it is bright cobalt eel. It looks a little deceptive, I think, is the thing that a lot of people get caught off guard on. So this next mission we're going to do, I have seen a variety of questions around. And it is Foodstuffs Emergency. This is an A1 rank up in Hollow Harbor. It helps if I go in the right direction here. And I'm going to take a sip of water. But this one is about getting as many fish as you possibly can. I take a sip of water and start running into a cliff. All right, so this next one is, like I said, Foodstuffs Emergency. This is, you have a 6-minute time limit to catch 18 fish. One of the first things that people do is they're like, oh, that's easy. I will just start triple hooking or double hooking any fish. Cosmic Exploration has basically did something that Diadem did as well, where double hook and triple hook, if you actually read the descriptions for them, they will say that it will hook multiple fish, but some fish cannot be triple hooked. Same thing for double hook, where some fish cannot be double hooked. The one thing that people get snagged on, I feel, with this, is they'll look at it and go, oh, I can't use it at all to catch a fish. No, you can use double and triple hook to catch any fish, and it'll have the same slip rate as if you were using normal hook under those same conditions. What this means, though, is the yield may not be 2 or 3, or in many cases, this is something that not a lot of people know with these skills, is double hook in some instances can actually give you 4 fish. Triple hook can actually in some instances give you 7. And that is the main thing that you have to figure out. This is the puzzle that you have to solve with Foodstuffs Emergency. And there's another one like this too. I think it's the other... Yeah, so it's Foodstuffs Emergency, and then I believe... where is it? There's another one that has you get 13. I don't remember it off the top of my head. But Foodstuffs Emergency is the big one that has you get 18 fish. So this one is going to really push us to use triple hook and make sure that we're using it on the correct fish. Now, how do we know it's the correct fish? Again, this is something that you learn through experimentation, or you talk to somebody like me or someone in the fish cord who will say, oh, it's this is what it is. You just consult a sheet. Again, that is how fishing is designed. It is designed a lot like say Eureka, where they want people, Square Enix wants people talking to each other. So, with Foodstuff Emergency, there is a large handful of fish in here, but we really only care about one. And that is the Grand Crowntail Beta. Now, this is a weak biting fish, so 1 exclamation point. It uses, because of that, because it's 1 exclamation point, it uses which lure? Modest Hookset. Modest lure. Modest lure is the one that will attract the weak Hookset fish. So, because of that, we can use that to our advantage, and we can start really swaying our bites towards the fish that we actually need. On top of that, we know that it is a long biting fish. This is something that I would have picked up that when I first started doing this mission, I picked up again within 1 or 2 missions, and it was confirmed by the fish court and a variety of other people. It is the longest biting fish. It is a very long bite, so it is relatively easy to isolate. And I will do my best to show you how that works now. So, Foodstuff Emergency, let's get started on this one. I'm going to initiate it. We have 6 minutes to get 18 fish. Doesn't sound too hard, but it can be a little tricky. So, I'm going to go ahead and initiate. And much like previously, I'm going to open with Chum, but I'm actually not going to use prize catch. It doesn't matter in this case for me. I don't really feel like I've ever needed it. And I'm going to use modest lure up to 3 times, or until I see that you have a feeling your next bite will be a weak-sized fish. Now, in this case, I do want to know what this first bite is. Moonrock Candy, that's fine. I'm going to use Surface Slap, and I'm going to use Chum one more time, even though it puts me under 700. I want to have enough GP to be able to use triple hook. So I'll cast back out. I'll probably miss it. Again, that's going to be fine that if I don't catch that triple hook. But I know now this next bite is going to be a small-jawed fish. And because I'm using Chum, any bite that I get is going to be halved in time. So that was a long bite. I was keeping an eye on this timer over here because my macro timer is a little bit different. But because I knew that was a long bite fish, I knew that was that ended up being longer than anything else. In this particular case, it was about, if I look, 1, 2, 6, about 12, 13 seconds. 13, and that's 13 seconds was the bite time. Because I was using Chum, which reduces it by half. I knew that was going to be 26 actually, and then ended up knowing that was going to be Dark Crown Beta. That was a lot of words, so let me do it again. This time I won't use Chum, so it's easier to see. I'm going to use Modest Lure 3 times. This puts me at about 13, 14 seconds. Because I know that is not the 26 seconds that I want, or 25 or greater seconds that I'm looking for, I know that isn't Dark Crown Beta, so I just use normal hook. I'll use Surface Slap. I'll go ahead and cast out again. I'll use Modest Lure some more. And I will wait. And because that's been about 12 seconds, I just wait a little bit longer, and I keep an eye on my time. And I believe that's going to be a Lunar Sister, so I'm going to reel that in. I lost track because I was looking over at chat. And I was right. So this is the loop of this one particular mission. And I apologize if I'm not doing the best job of explaining it. I will do it again. But the loop of this one is you want to be spending all of your GP on those beta fish. On the Grand Crowntail Beta. So I've already caught 4. you can see that I'm about halfway through and I'm a little under where I need to be. That's because I took a pause. But I'm going to go ahead and cast back out again. And I'm going to just keep an eye on my time. If you don't have a macro timer, that's fine. Just keep an eye on the timer on your mission. You can even adjust that so it's a little bit easier to see. We know that Crowntail Beta, or sorry, I haven't finished learning all of its Crowntail Beta. This is going to be another lunar sister. The Grand Crowntail Beta is a very long biting fish. And I know that before that is going to be a lunar sister. If I really wanted to, I could double hook these guys. This gives me 2. Triple hook gives me 3. But in this case, I'm going to try and hold out until I can see if I can get that double hook on another Grand Crowntail Beta. Now, I do have to do this within the next minute. I think because I've been explaining this, I'm not actually going to be able to hit that. And that I'm okay with that right now. But I also know that using Modest Lure 3 times is about 13 seconds. So 13 seconds from, wait for it, now. So I'm looking for a bite that is around, would have been 13 seconds after that little chime that you might be hearing. I don't know if that's coming through. But I have a chime on my macro that tells me when the lure's cooldown is over. Every time you use a lure, there's a 5-second cooldown on when a fish can bite. All right, so we're past about 6-7 seconds now, going on to 10, 15, 20. So this is probably going to be a crown tail. This is what I'll use to triple hook. Now I obviously won't make, I won't be finishing this one successfully because I did take that small break in the middle to explain things. But you'll see that because it was that long of a bite, I knew that it was that long bite, I knew that it was safe for me to use that triple hook. So that's kind of the one, that is the one secret to the puzzle of this specific mission, which was Foodstuffs Emergencies. Here. So to recap on this one, you are using Modest Lure to push for those longer bites. Or sorry, you're using Modest Lure to push and kind of sway the bite chance towards being one of the weak biting fish, excuse me. And we are looking for a long biting fish, one that takes more than 25 seconds since casting to bite, to use triple hook on, because we know that that's going to be the Grand Crowntail Beta, which gives us 7 fish whenever we use triple hook. So if you get really cut on time, or like your time gets cut short and you're really getting close to gold, you can use you can slap the moon rock candy and then just reel in any other weak bite that you get. That'll give you lunar sisters. Lunar sister will double hook into 2 or triple hook into 3, but ideally you need to get a few of those. Like, you really do need to get 1 or 2 or 3, excuse me, Grand Crowntail betas in there. I actually think one of the strategies that I came up with when I was doing this the first time is you basically blow all your GP on the Crowntail betas, and then you're just using Chum after that first one to be able to get more. All right, so If you have any more questions on that, we now have to run to the other side of the map for Aquatic Inspection I. I'm going to actually use return here, and that'll take us back a little quicker. So the big things that we do want to, the big things that we as the people who are doing a ton of fishing are using a lot of is our lure skills. So ambitious and modest lure. If you aren't familiar with how those work, definitely start playing with them. Need to go this way. You want to get comfortable with knowing how those skills are going to work, because it is incredibly important for a lot of the missions in target fishing. It is absolutely critical to use for this mission that we're about to use next, because this next mission is going to be absolutely important for your relic grind, for the fishing relic rod, which you can see on the back, on my back. Yeah, Poldu is chatting. Hello. Saying that Chum as a finisher with the Moonrock candies is how they finished and got gold just a little bit a while ago. Yeah, that is really good. Chum is great because it reduces the bite time of any fish. So if you need to get some more casts in, definitely want to be using Chum. And House of Frost 99 is just saying that they just started using lures in the diadem. They are really good. Lures are, I don't know. I brought a couple of other fishers on it. I think we talked about lures for like 2.5 hours. They are a very, very powerful skill. Okay. So welcome to the south side of the moon. We are going to write down a time here. I guess I could probably use Twitch's /marker, but oh well. So, this is, the fishing hole is Palus Arsenici. It is giant aether chemical pond, and you're going to be here a fair bit if you are working on your relic. This particular mission, as you will see, Aquatic Inspection I gives you a very good amount of dataset 4 and dataset 3 fishing notes and research, along with a decent amount of Cosmo credits and lunar credits. The goal of this mission is different from the ones that we have done before. We do need to catch a variety of fish. However, we are not trying to catch as many fish as possible. We are trying to catch as many unique species of fish as possible, and in this case we need 6 to get gold. And fortunately, that is not too hard to do if you're level 100, which you have to be able to do this quest. But if you are familiar with the lures, it is not too hard to do. This is one that I know already has there's already a lot of literature, so to speak, around it. I haven't written any, but again, in the fish cord, there is a couple of guides on it. So this one I'm going to dive right on in and get started and explain what I'm doing, because I've done this one probably 20 times now. So I will go ahead and initiate. You'll note that we do get 2 different types of baits for this one, and that's going to be very important. So, all right, here we go. All right, I'm immediately going to start cast out, and I'm going to start using ambitious lure, because I am looking for a powerful hookset fish on the bait that we start off with, which is stellar worm. In this particular case, there is only one powerful hookset fish that bites on stellar worm in this pool during this mission, and that is the Lamentorum regatois. That'll be the one that I'm going to first target, and this is it, because I know that it is a strong or 2 exclamation point bite. I will reel that in. Sweet. And now from here, I'm going to switch over to Cosmic Leech, because I want to go for another powerful hookset fish that only bites on leech. And it is the only powerful hookset fish that will bite on leech. And this is the Polypus sulphurus, which is a rare fish. Or what we're calling rare fish. They have green backgrounds. It's not necessarily a big fish, we don't think, but we're just calling them rare fish. Now, you can use chum in this case. I didn't, and I'm getting very lucky with that, but I do recommend using chum. So I know that the polypus is a ferocious bite or a 3 exclamation point, so I will reel that in, and now all that I have left is 4 basically just weak bites. So this is where I'll start using chum. I'm not going to use modest lure here. In this one particular case, there are 3 potential precision hookset fish. Modest lure would help me. I have the GP to use it, but it does extend some time out a little bit. So that's actually the fish that I am looking for. So I've taken care of almost all of the unique fish now. I'm going to head back to Stellar Worm, and this is where I will actually use modest lure. So what I'm doing is I am using the lures to specifically influence the bite chance of the species that I want. So I know that on Stellar Worm there's only one powerful hookset fish, so I use Ambitious Lure to reel that in. And I know that on Cosmic Leech there's only one powerful hookset fish there, so I use Ambitious Lure to lure that out. I will admit it usually doesn't go this smoothly, but that is my 4th fish, so now I've hit bronze, and now I just have the 2 fish that I really need left to get, which is going to be, I believe, Moonwhip, yep, and Lunar Scorpion. Now in this case, because I know that they are just precision hookset fish, I'm not going to use Modest Lure again. I'm just going to keep using chum, and I will use Surface Slap. Because if you remember, Surface Slap means that until I reel in another fish, I will not have the fish that I slapped biting. So now I'm just looking for a Moonwhip. Now this is the part where it can get a little tricky, because sometimes the other fish will bite. I did that in exactly 6 bait. I've never done that before, and that's not great for explanation because that was too ideal. But what I'll do is I will report this, and then I will see if I can. Let's see. I'm going to just make a lot of noise here while I cycle through these and see if I can get that again, so I can explain it, because that went a little bit too quickly. Oh wait, that's the metals one. I do want that. I'll keep that. So this is one of the notable things about fishing, is unlike a lot of other skills that teach you how certain things work in game, fishing is pretty minimal with that. And a lot of people, you'll hear people say about, like, hey, the game doesn't explain this to me. And in some cases, yeah, the tooltips aren't that great, but you are really expected to go out and work with other people. It's designed to be a skill or a job where you communicate with others, and that there is that sense of community with it. We like to say that Fisher is the original limited job, in that it is so different from the other Disciples of Land because of this, that it might as well just be a limited job. Okay, let's run through Aquatic Inspection again, and this time I will, hopefully it won't go as well, so I can explain some of the ways to get around this, and how we can use our skills to our advantage. So I'm all full on GP and stuff, so I'm just going to go ahead and initiate. I'm going to once again do what I did before. I'm going to use Chum this time, and I'm going to use Ambitious Lure. Now I'm on Stellar Worm, and I'm using Ambitious Lure because I want to draw out, I want to increase the likelihood of getting the Lamentorium Regatois, which I didn't get this time, the first time, so I'm going to reel in this first fish anyways, because what I'm going to do is use Surface Slap. I'll use Chum again, and I'll cast back out and use Ambitious Lure. Now, by surface slapping, the percent chance, like just mentally, the percent chance of that fish biting, you can imagine it now being redistributed to other fish. So in this case, I'm going to use the rest on that because I'm specifically looking for that tortoise. And I'm going to keep using Ambitious Lure while on Stellar Worm, because I know that it only bites on Stellar Worm, and I know that it's the only fish, and because I got that message, I know it's going to bite. And again, for those who are just joining or skipped ahead, this message, you have a feeling your next cast will be a large-jawed fish. That means that the next bite is going to guarantee, is going to absolutely guarantee that the next bite will be a powerful hookset fish. So I reel in the Lamentorum regatoids. Let me bring up my pouch here so you can keep track of the fish that we've caught. And I switch again over to Leech. I use Chum to speed up, and I use Ambitious Lure again to draw out the Polypus sulphurus, which I know again is another powerful hookset fish. And I know that's the only one that bites on Leech. Alright, cool. So we're now halfway done. I only have precision hookset fish left. And this I just remember because I've done this so many times. I know that there's 4 precision hookset fish and 2 powerful ones. Now in this case, I am going to use Modest Lure just a little bit to basically guarantee that I don't get another Polypus. That's one interesting thing about lures, is that you can use the opposite lure to make it so it's less likely for a fish of a certain bite to actually bite, which is helpful in these missions. So I got a Lunar Scorpion. I'm looking for that anemone. I'm going to just let this one chum out. I'm going to not use Modest Lure. There's my anemone. Now, I don't have to switch back to Stellar Worm for this. If I hadn't caught the Coulter Arsenici on that first cast, I would have had to have gone back to Stellar Worm because the Coulter only bites on Stellar Worm. But because I caught it already, I didn't have to. Out of habit, I just swapped back to Stellar Worm. And there we go again. Done in less than half the time. And we're good to go. And you'll see... Where did that go? Nope. Yep. You'll see this is really, really good for the relic because you get... oh, well, it doesn't give it to me anymore. Oh, because I finished my rod. It doesn't actually tell me. You end up getting 4 times the rewards if it's silver, 5 times if it's gold. And then if you don't, you get, if it's bronze, you get whatever the base is. So something to keep in mind when you're looking for missions to do for your relic, and you're like, oh, I only need like 10 or so points from like fishing data set 2, which one can I do? You don't necessarily have to do something that's over 10 or even close to it. You can come down to here and find like a 2. Like this will give you 40. So that's just a fun thing worth noting. That is in the tutorial docs that they give you. Okay, so Aquatic Inspection I. This should be one that you will always go and do. It will come up, and you will get, you will complete this. You will get a ton of stuff. It'll be great for your relic. It's great for points, and it's a sequential mission. Sequential missions mean that if you get gold on any of the ones that have like the 1 at the end, and you go to provisional missions, you'll find another one, Aquatic Inspection II, and we're going to go do that one. See if we can get there in less than 3 minutes. Not if I turn off sprint. Sequential missions, at the moment of recording, for those in the future, there are 2 sets. There's Aquatic Inspection 1 and 2, and then there is fine grade water material fine grade water filter materials 1, 2, and 3. Sure, I'm going the right way. I am not. There we go. In order to progress to the next mission in a sequential set of missions, you have to rank gold in order to unlock the next one. So because we ranked gold in Aquatic Inspection I, we unlocked Aquatic Inspection II. We don't know if there's a third yet. There's a few of these, like everyone's favorite, Coexistent Species 1. There is no sequential mission for this one yet, but we are expecting that as the base expands, there will be a second one. All right, Coexisting Species 2, I got 2 minutes left, and I am here at the southeast well. I haven't memorized all these fishing holes yet. Let's walk through. So this is going to be different from our first one. Our first Aquatic Inspection I was like, go and catch 6 unique species. This is one very specific species of fish that we're going to have to go after, and it is called a lunar sturgeon. Now, this is a mooch off. It's actually a double mooch, which makes it even more exciting. And this one is a little interesting. I want to walk through this one, mostly just to kind of explain how it works. But there isn't a lot of tricky things about it, but it is pretty much just a straightforward thing. If you've got Greater Serpent of Ronca, you are 100% able to do this. Actually, if you've caught like Ambling Caltrop or Neptodragon or Endoceras, you can do this one. So my GP is up and running. Because I'm going to be doing mooching, in this case, I'm going to start with Patience 2. Patience 2 increases the size of any fish caught. It doesn't actually increase the likelihood of a big fish. Now I'm looking for a fish called a moonbeam. This is a weak fish, and this is something that, again, you would have discovered if you were just doing this mission. A lot of fishing can be done and learned about just by actually going out and fishing and remembering what has been happening. All right, so there's my one moonbeam. One thing that I have found is that they do like to bite relatively often. So what I'll do is I'll use the spare full hand identical cast trick, where if you use spare full hand, you will store a moochable fish as swim bait, and then if you use identical cast, you can catch a second one. I like to do this as a backup. It doesn't save me. Basically, it costs me 30 seconds of my time, which is admittedly relatively generous for, I've got 3 minutes to do this, to get gold, and it saves me a whole lot of time down the road if this doesn't work. So I will mooch the second one, the second moonbeam that I just caught, and I will reel in any of the strong bites that come in. This could be one of 2 fish, and this is why I catch a second moonbeam. If it's a cod, then we can mooch it. But in this case, the lunar grass carp, not what we want. We want to get a moongate cod, which we will then mooch into a lunar sturgeon. I know that was a pretty long bite, so I know that that's going to be a moongate cod. I don't have the specific bite times on the mooches yet, so I don't know exactly what to rest. But in this case, I have a moongate cod. I still have plenty of patience left. I'm just going to go ahead and mooch this out. Now, moongate cod does something that we fishers absolutely like and love, and it is effectively cannibalistic. It eats itself. Which didn't happen here. But when you mooch a moongate cod, it will either be another moongate cod, or it will be the lunar sturgeon, which is that 3 exclamation point ferocious bite, which I'll reel in with powerful hookset, and I will get gold. Because I ended it however early that was. Yeah, 626. So that was not too hard. But that is basically what you're wanting to do when it comes to mooching fish, is, kind of just know which fish you can actually mooch. And if you have time to save it, save it, grab a second one just in case. If I didn't save that second one, I would have had to go and find it, and it could have been one of the other weak fish. Making notes of when I'm doing this for the timestamp. So I'm seeing a bunch of chat coming up here. Chaos Composer. This one is very consistent to gold. Yeah, I don't think I've failed this one outside of my first one. When I didn't know anything about like where the hole was, or like what was in it. So yeah, this one's a very consistent one to gold. Great set of points too. It's a good spread. I liked it for when I was doing like the mid-tier relics. Aristotle's asking if I'm making a list of fish per mission out of curiosity. Yes, there is a couple of spreadsheets going around, and I will actually link to mine that I have. There are two in the Fishgourd. One that is community source. The other one's that Teodo Teon. Wow, I cannot say his name tonight. Teodo Teon is putting together with their own information. The one that I just linked in Twitch chat and will be in the description of this video is the crowdsourced one. This is the one that all of Fishgourd is kind of contributing to. And yeah, Teodo is also very reliable information as well. Melodic called a mooch loop a mooch yo-yo, and I've never really considered Never considered thinking of it that way. Okay, so what is left on my notes here? What did I say I was going to cover tonight? Okay, so I want to do the blacksmith one because it's right here. I've gotten a lot of questions about the missions that require you to craft. Now, I am going to reveal that I am not a very big crafter. I actually, just for this stream, spiked myself from 90 to 100 blacksmith, just so I could do it, but I didn't do it with alchemist. So I need to do a couple of little swaps here, and we're going to see if I can get that quick. Something that's come up when it comes to missions is if you are, let's see, Aquatic Inspection I, we're just going to wave at it as it comes through our chat, and because it is going to leave. But something that has come up is figuring out exactly what it is, like which missions you want to do, which ones you want to skip, and how do you get back to them quickly. And there's a few ways that you can do it. You can do what I'm doing now, which is initiating a quest or a mission, and then immediately abandoning it. This works. It's kind of slow. The other thing that I found that if my thing doesn't show up here in about, the next 5 of these or so, what I will do is switch instance. Just leave. And you'll be able to get a full reroll on all of your missions. The third option is you just do a mission. All right, there we go. Processed metals. The third option is you just do the mission and that'll reroll all your missions. It's a lot like leaves, at least the Realm Reborn leaves. A lot of times people will say that they'll just cycle through a bunch of different missions until they get the one that they want. They find that it's quicker. You're welcome to do that. I wouldn't judge anyone for doing that. I personally, if I see something come up like Foodstuffs Emergency, I don't mind doing it. I'll go and do it. I'll do any of these that come up with the exception of this one because I'm not a level 100 alchemist yet. I'll probably do that tomorrow. So just, go through and just go in, do the missions. Have fun with it. Just pick a mission and go for it. If you're not sure on how to do it, it doesn't hurt to try. Because at most, you just re-roll towards the one that you want to do. Anyways, we got metals. This one I do need to eat some food for. Okay, so processed aquatic metals. This is an A2 rank or A2 class mission. It is one of 2 fishing gathering or fishing crafting missions in our suite of missions that we have right now. The other one being your refined moon gel. This one will have you catching fish that you then use as materials in a craft. And then you have to craft with them, and then you have to hit a certain level of, you have to hit a certain rank of crafts in order to get gold. It's actually really cool. I think this is really a ton of fun. I really kind of hope they do a little bit more of these, because it will also encourage me to level up the rest of my crafters. So I am going to just quickly refresh myself on something here and fix that. Okay, so we are... All right, cool. All right, so processed aquatic metals. This is the one that I get asked a lot about. I will have a video guide out on this one probably this weekend. So I'm going to go ahead and initiate. I'm immediately going to run over to the water. I'm going to start with prize catch and chum, and I'm going to cast out. Now, beforehand, I was saying, hey, use surface slap. In this case, I'm not using surface slap. I'm actually going to just use, I'm just going to use prize catch, and I'm only going to reel in ferocious bites that are over 15 seconds. Because I know for a fact that that is the only time, any ferocious bite, which is again 3 exclamation points, any of those that bite after 15 seconds or about 8 seconds if you're using chum, I know for a fact that that's going to be heavy attack site, which I need 21 of to get gold in this. So I'm really hoping that this works, because I've only done it 3 times today. Okay, so this is going to be over 15 seconds. It's not what I want, just a little which is a little frustrating. Hopefully we can get this here again pretty quick. Ooh. That one was close, but I'm pretty confident that that would be a heavy attack site, because it was just about 15 seconds. Yeah? Yeah. Alright, so the reason I used prize catch to start with is because I would get Angler's Art stacks back. I would get 7 specifically. And so that 700 GP I almost said cast, which isn't right, but technically is. That 700 GP skill, use of triple hook, I get 300 GP back via Thaliac's Favor whenever I caught those heavy attack sites. So in reality, it would only cost me 400. Now you can get a little pedantic and say it technically cost me 200 more because I had to use the prize catch, in which case it would save me 100 GP, but it's still 100 GP saved, which is incredibly important. Now I know that that is going to be a long hair because it is too soon of a bite. I'm waiting for the longer one. I would say 14, 15 seconds or later, and if it's a ferocious bite, you're pretty much safe to use triple hook. But in this particular case, it's before that. So I know that it's a lunar longhair, which is a fish that we do not want. It is quite literally a bait fish. Now I'm at 7.5 minutes. This is taking a little bit longer than I want, but I got my second heavy attack site. And what I'm going to do is, as soon as this is done, going to... Actually, I'll just pop the cordial first. Usually that's not until later. Actually, I think I'm okay to do this again. All right, I'll go for this one more time. Usually what would happen is I get those bites a lot quicker. And so my cordial hadn't come off cooldown. So what you'll do is you will have enough to get 2 triple hooks with the heavy attack sights. And while you're crafting those 2, you let your GP regen. You then go back to fishing, catch the third, go and fish, or catch the third set that you need. And then you can just go ahead and go back and craft that last one. So I'm going to go ahead and just craft all 3 now. Don't ask me for the macro. Don't. I know you're thinking about it, but don't, because I don't know it. I used a solver for this one because, like I mentioned earlier, I'm not that great at crafting. There are a variety of solvers that you can find online where you just plug in your shut up, Tioto. Or you just plug in your your crafting, your craftsmanship, your control, and your crafting points, and it'll say, here's what you need to do, and here's what your final product will be. The other reason I'm not giving this out is it isn't a 100% macro, because I literally have, like, my melds on this are terrible. I just threw whatever I had on in my inventory. But it was enough that I get a roughly 80%. High quality chance, which is good enough for me. It may not be good enough for you, and if that's the case, that's fine. Go ahead and pick it up. Set up whatever you need. Selena is suggesting the Raphael one. Yeah, the Raphael solver. Teamcraft has a solver. Both of those are fine. I would recommend either of those. Now you do need to get you do need to do 3 high quality ones of these. So there is actually a 1 in 4 chance that one of these won't be, and if that's the case, that's meh. You might be right, Warbo. It might actually be that Teamcraft only has a sim. I thought it had a solver. No one corrected me when I asked about it, so I kind of ran with that. But I know TC though would have community macros that you can also use. So, okay, so I'm not completely out of my mind. Cool. All right, so this will take about another 90 seconds, but I will have. You'll see that I've made 3 of the survey attack site ingots that you needed for this within gold rank. Again, this one was a bit of another one of those, hey, it was a little bit too optimal. I really hate it when that happens because it's harder to teach. But typically what I recommend, or at least what I would be recommending for this, is you have enough GP to go for 14 heavy attack sights, so 2 triple hooks, right from the beginning. Craft 2 of them. Craft the 2 ingots while your GP regenerates and your cordial comes off cooldown. Then when you're done, go back and catch the third. I think you probably also have enough time if you don't have enough GP, like base pool. You probably also have enough time to just go back and forth and do, catch one, craft one, catch one, craft one, catch one, craft one. Totally doable. So anyways, 2.5 minutes left and we're done. So that's how I would recommend. That's kind of like the big tips for the metal refinement mission. And I totally made that mistake again. If you want this to go on to your Fisher points, you need to switch back to Fisher and then turn it in. I don't know how many times today I have accidentally turned in stuff on Blacksmith when I didn't mean to. So again, with the metal one, which it was an A2. So again, with metal, big recommendation for this, only triple hook after about 14-15 seconds. I usually use 15 seconds, but I think I've seen Tioto mention that it's like 12 seconds at most for the long hair. So anything after that, that's a triple hook, would be fine. If anyone cares, there is a meteor shower inbound on Marlboro in whatever instance I'm in. That would be 4. We're not going to deal with that because there is no fishing minigame in the instance for meteors. Okay, so any other... Okay, yeah, okay. I remember you had said that, so I did, but I wasn't sure you were 100%. That might have been when you had a smaller number of guests. Tioto Teyun has been doing a lot of bite time testing, and is saying that the longest long hair out of 70 casts was 11.5 seconds. So you have a pretty wide window of safety for triple hooking. So you really want that longer ferocious bite for if you're going for a heavy attack site. Phoenix Tears 03 is asking about recommendations on the size related quests. Would you recommend Patience 2, Prize Catch, and Big Game Fishing for those? If you are going for... Apologies here, I haven't memorized all of the missions yet. How dare I? But there is a few... Actually, I can do this the easier way. There are a few where you have to get a largest fish of a single largest fish. For those, I would probably use which one am I looking at? A1, rare aquatic species. That's it. For the single target ones, I would probably use Prize Catch if you can easily target fish, like we were doing earlier with the Grand Crown Tails. That one I would probably use Prize Catch on. And if you want to use Big Game Fishing, you can. I know, Tieto, you were saying something earlier about how and when that works. I don't know enough about that one to confidently say anything, at least not publicly, and, on record on the internet. But if you can swing it, it wouldn't hurt. But if it's going to, there are some times when you don't actually really need big game fishing. On a mission like this, on rare aquatic specimens, which I'm wondering, do I actually have that one? I have large aquatic specimens, never mind. On rare aquatic specimens, which is all the way over here, maybe I can swing that one. This is one where you have to gather collectibles and reach a target score. In this particular one, I would probably use Patience 2. I will use Patience 2 on this one in conjunction with Ambitious Lure. Because you can basically just more guarantee that the lunar academicians and the skipping stars are more likely to bite. So let me see if I can get myself over there and see if we can pick it up, and I'll do it really quick, and we can find out together. Large aquatic specimens. Is this the one that I think? Which one is this? This one also might be a good example of using Prize Catch. Oh, that's gold cheek. Yeah, hold on. So I run into some machinery. Let's go do this one really quick because this is a good prize catch one, and then we'll re-roll into the last one and we can just go with that. Because that was the A2 one, right? Yeah. So as the meteors come down, there is no mission for meteors. I was kind of hoping that there would be a red alert during this stream, but I was hoping that it would be the spores or astromagnetic, because there's actually fishing stuff in that. Alright, so I've seen this one come up as a question a few times. Large aquatic specimens is having us go for the largest fish caught. So this is one of those missions where you will be judged on the largest fish that you catch. And in this particular case, you would learn that it is in fact a hidden fish. This is one of the other features of the new lures, where if I bring them up and you look at the skill thing, you'll see it says, where does it? May also attract rare species of fish. If no, wait, where did it go? Attract guarantees. Did they remove it? And I'm just losing my mind here. Basically, it's going to reveal. It will reveal. Oh, there it is. May also attract rare species of fish. That's what I was looking for. I thought it was a different text. Yeah, thank you, Teodo, for filling that, or for answering a bit more. Teodo is saying that the most important time to use Patience 2, that is if the ranking equals size of a single fish class A mission, pretty much. Some of them have a decent margin of sub-gold with just PC and P2 at perception ratings that he has tested, which is the ones that most likely people are going to be at. For collectible ones, I think if you want, it's really only worth considering it for the Dark Crowntail beta one, with what he has so far researched. Anything else is too early to say. So let's do, while we get to be while we have meteors come upon us, let's just go fishing for this large aquatic specimen. And we'll go through how to do one of these missions, because this is again a target fish, but it's not as easy as that first one we did with the bright cobalt eel. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Start with Chum. I'm going to use prize catch in this particular case, and I'm going to use ambitious lure because I am looking for a specific message, and it's this one right here. A blinding fast form size through the water. And that means that there is a chance that the hidden fish, gold cheek in this case, has a chance to bite. That is the fish that I want for size. Starcrier is not what I want, but you'll notice that based on its size, I now have a new score. Because it's the only fish I caught. It is the largest fish that I have caught. And so I'll just repeat again, prize catch with a Chum, and I'll use ambitious lure. And if I get the message, I will wait for a fish to bite. Cool. It isn't a strong bite, which is what I am looking for with gold cheek. So I'll just use Chum, and I'll go back again. If I don't see that message, if the game would like to not give me the message, dang it. If I go through 3 ambitious lures and I don't have the message, I will use rest immediately and then just cast back out. Like that, so I don't have the fish I didn't get the message for the fish that I want. And I'll just cast back out. Now, this is if you're going for Gold Star, which in this particular case, I don't think is that hard to do. Oh, that's right. I have a very specific amount of bait left on this one too. Thank you for reminding me, Chaos. That is especially important for this is if I don't see that message, I'm immediately reeling in. Because as long as a fish doesn't bite, I get to keep the bait. And now I'm going to wait and see if there's actually a bite. This is going past. I know this is going to be a long bite, so this is probably going to be my gold cheek. I love the limited bait ones. Like, genuinely love the limited bait ones. So, what happened there? Let me break down what just happened. I used my ambitious lure 3 times. It doesn't always have to be on the 3rd time that this message will appear. You saw it appear at the 1st and 2nd one before, but I used it up to 3 times. On the 3rd one, I got the message saying, you know, a blinding fast form appears, meaning that there is a chance that the bait that I want, or the fish that I want, is likely to bite. So I waited for a bite to actually occur, and because it was a long bite, based on how long it took to go through the ambitious lures, and since I casted, I knew that it was going to be a gold cheek. On top of the fact that it was a strong bite, which is 2 exclamation points. So with that, I can go ahead and report it. And I get all of my points and all that other fun stuff. Alright, so we are also now going to look for that other one that you were mentioning, which is rare aquatic specimen, and that is this one right here. So we're going to be looking for one as we prance through the meteor field. We're going to be looking for rare aquatic specimens here as I just initiate and abandon. Nope. There it is. Now, Tioto, were you saying this is one where it is recommended potentially to use Patience 2 in this case? Or not? Am I in the right hole? I am. Alright, I'm going to let my GP and my cooldown and my cordial come off cooldown really quick. So, this mission is going to have you catch collectible fish. Not just any fish. It has to be collectible fish for the points to count, and based on the collectability, you get points, and you need to get a certain number of points to reach, the gold rank. So, in this particular case, in this mission for rare aquatic specimens, I am looking for lunar academician. Tongue-tied on that one, and skipping star. Those are the 2 fish that I'm looking for. Skipping star specifically, I know, has a very big size, so like that would be great to get. But for the most part, we're going to be using ambitious lure because lunar academician and skipping star are both powerful hookset fish. What I may end up doing is slapping, if I catch a lunar ramus, I will probably slap it, because that is the only other powerful hookset fish in the hole. So if I slap that one, any other strong, not powerful, strong bite, 2 exclamation point, powerful hookset, any other one that I get is going to contribute to my score, which I want to happen. So I have basically ready to go. Let me hit initiate. And I'm actually going to open with patience. Use my cordial, and I'm just going to go and spam my ambitious lure. And for this, if I get a... And I have, oh, you also have 10 bait to do this one. If I get a single exclamation point, I am resting. I'm not wasting time on that. This is a nice long bite. I know that Lunar Ramus would have bit immediately at the end of using Ambitious Lure. So I know that that's going to be great. I did not have Collect on. I have made a terrible error. Don't be like me. It's because I switched to Blacksmith. So keep that in mind. You fool. This is most likely a Ramus, so I'm just going to let it go. I was doing so well on these missions until I forgot to turn on Collect. But anyways, this is how I'm just going to be doing this one. For these collectible ones, I'm going to be waiting to get a bite. I'm going to be using Ambitious Lure to basically draw out the bites that I want. I want the strong bites. I want those to come out as much as possible, even though in the overworld it wouldn't be optimal in this case. I'm on a limited time with a limited bait budget. I want those bites. I don't care what it takes. So this is either going to be another lunar academician or a skipping star. I have Collect on this time. It's a skipping star, and that's going to be worth a ton of points, which is great. And I'm just going to cast back out and go again. Now, I would have been a little bit higher if I didn't mess up that first lunar. This is another long bite, so I will get another set towards my points. I think that is also the first time I've seen the Cosmic Fishing Rod proc. Go ahead and use that. Cast back out. I could be using Chum here as well. The reason I haven't is because it makes it difficult to tell the difference between Lunar Ramus and Lunar Accommodation. In this case, I know it's a lunar. I'm just going to let it go. I'll use Chum in this case now because I have a surplus, and I know that I'm basically running out of time to be able to do this. So use Chum as much as you want on this one. As much as you are comfortable doing. In the few times that I've done this, I haven't felt a need to use Chum. But it also shouldn't hurt too much if you have a surplus of GP. If you're struggling with GP between using Chum or not Chum, maybe tone back on the Chum usage. I only have 3 more left. I really need a skipping star. But that'll get me into silver. This is either a lunar or a skipping. Perfect. Now I am going to be very interested if I can get something here. I should have just enough time to reel that in. So this will either be a lunar or a lunar Ramus or an academician. An academic Click yes. Okay. Fun thing that I've learned, if you don't click yes and the time runs out, it doesn't count. So in that case, we got gold on that one. We got really lucky. I will be very honest. I got a little bit lucky, and that was a bit close for me. But another gold. So hopefully, Phoenix, that sort of helps answers some of your questions around size-related quests. So it does depend on the type of fishing that you are going to be doing. As Toyota was saying, P2 is good for some, PC for another. That was just two examples, one where you can use PC, another one where you can use patience. Yeah, so there are a few. I know that the one that a lot of people struggle on is this one right here, Coexisting Species 1. Just because we're kind of at the end of my time, I'm not going to do it. But this one is definitely tricky. This one gives you a skill called Stellar Hookset. If you see a mission that requires you to use Stellar Hookset, I would personally, because at least this is what I do, if you know what the target fish is, so in this particular case it's galactic flarefish, you use Stellar Hookset on galactic flarefish. You use this because what this will do is it'll double the points that it would give you anyway. So if you catch a fish and it's going to be worth 800 points, normally, then if you use Stellar Hookset on it, it'll actually be worth 1600. So highly recommend, if you're going to be doing a mission like Coexisting Species that has Stellar Hookset, make sure you know what your target fish is going to be. Either ask somebody or experiment. Just catch everything once to get an idea of what the points are, and to be like, okay, cool, these are what I should be going for, and start formulating the solution to this puzzle in your head. But look for the fish that you want to be using Stellar Hookset with. The one tip I will say for this one that helped me is galactic flarefish can be identical casted, and I did find that if I got one early enough, it was actually worth it to use identical cast and then wait the 60 seconds for Stellar Hookset to come off of cooldown to catch the second one. Make sure you use prize catch with that though, because the large sized version is worth more points than an average sized one. So that would be my tip for this one specifically. Another note on Coexisting Species 1 is there is no sequential quest for it yet, but we suspect that as the base upgrades progress over the next weeks, or however long it will take, there will be a second one that you'll have to do. So if you haven't done this one yet, and you're really struggling with it, maybe wait a little bit, because then you might be able to do 2 in one go. If not, get really comfortable doing this one. Okay. All right, so that's been about an hour and a half. I hope everyone has learned something, and I hope you've all at least feel a little bit more comfortable doing some of these Fisher challenges. That was the goal here. I've been seeing a lot of people who were confused or like, hey, I'm not too sure about this. And so I hope that we've boosted your confidence a little bit. If you have any questions, please come to the Fishcord. That's discord.gg/Fishcord. And you can ask questions there. There is a large number of people who have been doing nothing but fishing since this came out, and just exploring all these new missions and figuring out different strategies. And I think there's even a guide already written for relics if you're into that. So definitely don't be afraid to ask. Fishing is very much a community job. You don't need to be doing it on your own. Definitely, ask for help, look up guides, look up resources. As of recording this, if you're watching this in the future, this won't be true, but I will have a guide for the metal quest, the processing aquatic metals. I recorded that earlier today. I will have a video guide for that one out within the next few days. And again, if you're watching this in the future, it might already be out. So for all of that, I hope everyone learned something. I will be back with more cosmic exploration, fishing, and streaming probably Saturday or Sunday evening. If you have any more questions, I'll be able to answer them then. If not, you can find me on Blue Sky, you can find me on Twitter, you can find me on Discord, you can find me on YouTube at Fruity Snacks. Thank you everyone for joining. I hope, again, I keep saying it, but I really hope this is true. I hope you really feel more comfortable tackling some of these A-rank fishing missions. They really are not scary. They really are not as difficult as they are being made out to be. They are not very that hard. They are a little, they do have a little bit of challenge, but if you have been doing any big fishing, you are already equipped to be able to do these. So until next time, I wish you all a good luck, a good rest of your evening or morning or afternoon, depending on where you are. And until then, I will talk to you then. Good luck and happy fishing.